right, everybody, welcome back to the podcast after the break. Today, we're going to be talking a little bit more about assessment in social work. And assessment really is such an important and integral part of social work practice, especially social work practice with individuals. And, that leads to the question, what exactly makes social work assessment so important to practicing? And it really provides a cornerstone to all interactions that we have with clients. It provides a foundation that allows us to have initial engagement and intervention with our clients instead of spending our time jumping to conclusions, making assumptions about what a client needs. Assessment really allows us to do just as the word says, assess what a patient needs, and hopefully work with them in a collaborative way to create some of those goals and plans for the future. The reason assessment is such a foundational level piece of social work practice is because without assessment, it's almost impossible to know what exactly a patient needs and where they might be headed. Without understanding the needs of a patient and understanding what their personal goals are, understanding how you both can work collaboratively towards those goals that they set and you all can work towards together, really all of the intervention that's going to be taking place could potentially fall flat pretty significantly and lead to low-yielding results, that's for sure. And another big part of assessment is being culturally sensitive, trauma-informed, and anti-racist. Overall, just being someone that's open to who your client is, open to their experiences, understanding the diversity within practice. And what steps can we take to eliminate some of these biases that we might bring in to social work practice as a social worker? Ultimately, these practices can be much more bias-free whenever we expose ourselves to the understandings of other cultures, other experiences, as well as remain open-minded during our assessments with clients. Instead of creating a situation where we have a predisposition with a client based on some defining characteristic of them, we can create a situation where we allow our assessments to be open-minded, understanding of what a particular client has been through, understanding of their particular set of skills, and understanding of their specific set of experiences. Being open-minded, being anti-bias in our practices really creates a positive setting for assessment in general. Steps that we can really take to mitigate any sort of bias that we see within our practice include understanding and evaluating our own actions during assessment with a client. I think it's a really important part of social work to keep track of ways that we might be materializing and operationalizing any biases that we may hold. It's important for us to try to prevent those as much as possible, educate ourselves to mitigate those biases from showing through. The last thing we want is to bring our own bias into a situation where we're assessing a client and then create further stress for them, potentially expanding on problems that already exist for them. Instead, when we create a situation and an environment that is bias-free, we're able to provide an environment that's welcoming and conducive of actual progress for any given client. Ultimately, when we think about assessment and we think about social work practice in regards to assessment, like I've already mentioned, it's such a cornerstone of social work practice in general. And it's also important to remember some of the core competencies and values of social work in general. Being ethical is being bias-free. And it's important to remain ethical in all of our practices, control any biases we may have, and provide clients with the utmost respect during any assessment or evaluation that we're doing with them while remaining collaborative and being a true partner to them in a professional manner that is working towards their goals and hopefully creating a situation where they can live better lives. All right, and coming up after the break, we're going to talk a little bit more about evaluation in social work. Thank you for joining me during the assessment part, and here's a couple words from our sponsors.